Hello, everyone. This is the third time that I'm trying this now, so give it another few minutes, see if someone is hopping online, and then we're gonna just start and people can watch the replay. I was actually trying to share this link on my personal Facebook page, but it's not allowing me. I'm not sure why, but it would be great to share it. Just gonna give it a try from my phone. There we go. Options. I think it's working. Let's see. There we go. Yay. Yes. Shipped. So let us start. I'm very excited for this. Um, I actually wanted to jump online and share more about why it's so important to be visible and to come out of hiding. And what does it actually mean to come out of hiding, right? I mean, we're saying this a lot. I'm speaking about this a lot, to own our stage unapologetically and to really show up. And it isn't always as easy as one thinks. At least that's to my own experience. It has been quite a journey to now, for example, do this live or to share posts and reels online and to just be present. And that can be challenging because we each time need to peel off layers of discomfort and limiting beliefs and fears that are coming to the surface for showing up in our vulnerability, for showing up in our brightfulness, in our joy, in our abundance. And there's so many different layers towards each topic. So the thing is this, we have this amazing worlds, right? We can meet people in person, and then we have this online space. And whatever we are doing, either it's online or offline, we constantly coding the worlds and coding the grids with our unique soul codes and codexes of light. So when we just moving around, we obviously have a reach and we are connecting with people, but just tuning and feeling into what is available to us when we are broadcasting online and when we are sharing content online, coding the internet with our unique codes. That has so much more reach and eventually also impacts than working, for example, one-on-one with clients or even our groups programs or containers or live events, because that's great. And that's still that's ways to go really, really deep, but just sharing like in alignments is also important. I will come back to that. Being visible online in the online space is giving us so many opportunities to actually reach so many more people, and especially for us women and also men, but I'm talking about the ladies today. There are so many codes that needs upgrading and limiting beliefs that require alchemizing in order to do so. So, for me personally, for example, I really went into a freeze just by showing up online when I just started this journey. And that's not even that long ago. I went back in my timelines and I only started posting really about my soul purpose and this venture that I started. That's only about 2 years ago. And if I look at the first post that I was posting, they were all in a way, very unpersonal. I was not in the picture at all. It were beautiful quotes and beautiful pictures of landscapes or whatever, flowers, and I was quoting other people's words, and that's great. I mean, that's how I started, and that's perfect. It was aligned for the person that I was back then. And as we are going, we are growing and we are expanding and we're becoming more and more comfortable by showing up. I was the other day, just a week or so ago, removing a lot of videos from my YouTube channel. And as I was watching some of these videos, it actually made me smile so much because I could see the growth. I could see where I once started and how I am showing up right now. And that has been a journey of a couple of years, and I'm not even that long in fact, in this online space. And that already was such a big shift, and it gave me so much freedom. That was my whole thing. For me personally, I wanted to create an abundant life with freedom. I didn't want to be limited to living in one place. I didn't want to go into an office and have a set day or certain days or times that I had to go in. Never really had that, luckily, but that was my drive. Freedom is my drive for most of the things that I do, and with this online world we can create that with so much more ease than ever before. But again, we need to break through all these layers that are holding us back and these voices that keep telling us, like, no, don't do that. Similar actually to this live here now. I think this is one of the first times that I'm going live on Facebook. I've been going live on Instagram in the past, and this didn't go how I wanted. And I just made the call. I'm going to keep on going up until I have this thing up and running. And it took me about 10 minutes still, and I was already online for like 50 minutes prior 4 o'clock, so quarter to 4. And still, it's about doing, it's about facing the discomfort and just sitting there in our rawness, in our vulnerability, and showing up. And we don't always need to be in our brightest, in our highest, in our best version. That was limiting me for a very long time. When I was just starting out, I wanted to show up only when I was in the highest frequency that was available to me in those specific moments. And I canceled at the beginning. I think it was like even last year when I was traveling, when I started traveling again the year before, I was canceling quite a lot of things. I was procrastinating because I felt, oh, I don't have a good day today, so let's just not do this video. Or let me just postpone this connection call because I can't be there how I want to show up. But what I've learned is that even then, just show up, because there was already a contract in place for this meeting, for this video, or for this connection to happen. So you are always showing up in the way that you're supposed to. Only if you're really clearing something deep like trauma healing, then okay, of course, postpone, because that's taking a lot of us. But otherwise, just follow the guidance of our soul. That's what I learned. And it has been a journey. I've been procrastinating a lot, but especially since recent weeks. Oh my gosh, so many patterns, so many of my own bullshit is becoming visible to me, and I can no longer avoid it. It's like it's there and it's in my field. It's maximum in my field for maybe a couple of hours, maybe lasting for 2 days, and then I shift out of it, because there is the time for avoiding, the time for not even avoiding, but the time to not be visible any longer. It's just no option for me. And that's where the magic lays, Because when we then start to listen to our soul and to the guidance of our soul, things will go with so much more ease. And we don't need to be visible each and every single day on social media, at least not with the posts. Because if we're pitching up just every single day or once a week, that we made an agreement with ourselves, I'm just going to do this once a week, for example, a live or video or workshop. If we do not feel it and it's not soul aligned, it's not gonna shift us into that version where we can tap into that flow, where we can tap into that abundance, that freedom, and that we can enjoy it. Because when we're doing these things from I'm needing to do this, or I need to be visible, I need to show up for XYZ, it's from fear, it's from scarcity. But when we are showing up in our bliss, in our own beautiful essence, in our goddess essence, we are there because we are loving to be there. We are loving to connect with our tribe. We want to engage. We want to actually co-create together and share our codes. That's the thing. We want to share and grow and evolve together. So one of the things is, like I said, I was freezing a lot, and that's resulted in procrastinating. And I see that a lot when we are in this turning point that our soul keeps calling us. We keep feeling like, okay, something needs to happen, but it's that little bridge, it's that little hurdle, right? Which can be very scary at times. But that's the moments when we just going through that, and then instead of going into that freeze, my advice really is, when you feel that coming up, just take a step back, see what's happening, witness it, and then remove yourself, maybe even completely, from the environment that you're in right now, and go do something that's bringing you back in your bliss, that's bringing you back in your happy space. Go to the beach, go to the forest, go for a walk, go painting, go singing, go dancing. I don't know what your thing is, but go do that. Change the energy in that moment and then come back to it. Don't just move it away and I'm not gonna do this. No. Come back to it when it feels aligned again, and when you feel that it's coming from that creative flow, from your bliss, and then go for it. And when you're in that energy, keep going for it, even if the first couple of times are a bit more uncomfortable. Like I said, my first videos, when I saw them just a week ago, I was laughing, and not in a bad way, but in a way like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy that I made that step 2 years ago, that I did it. Because that brought me to where I am right now. And that's epic. So when we're seeing that we're starting to freeze, remove ourselves, see what fear is coming to the surface, and go do something to call your energy back. Another beautiful practice is to shake the energy out, to move your body and to ease and relax in your body. When we are in fear and when we're feeling more discomfort, our soul is more disconnected, obviously, from our body. And the whole point of our ascension is actually descending back into our body. Yes, we are ascending, but we are downloading so much information from our soul, from our star family, from our ancestors, and that we are descending in our body. That's the whole point, because we're taking our bodies with us. So our body is constantly talking to us. So when we are in that freeze mode or in that flight mode, that you want to run away when you need to show up in front of that camera, for example, again, just take a step back, breathe through it, shake your body, and then maybe not in that moment, but do it again. You can train yourself in that, and it's becoming easier every single time. To be honest, if I haven't been online for a week, for example, I already feel that there's a little bit of a hurdle to jump back on my stories, or to make a video, or to go live, or whatever I'm planning to do. So each time when we take a break from that, it's like there's a new limit that we kind of, yeah, that we're going to cross. And that's beautiful, because every time we are releasing a fear, because that's what we're doing, when the fear is becoming visible for us, when a limiting belief is becoming visible for us in our field, that's actually the moment that we're starting to shift it, because we're seeing it. And once we see it, we're going to clear it. And that's a process of growth. So that maybe working the one day and the next day you kind of think you're falling back, but you're never falling back. You just need to recalibrate your field again, and then you're back in that version, and you keep going up until you fully embodied that version of yourself that is just present. And again, soul aligned presence, so important. Soul aligned in co-creation with your soul. I've done this at the beginning too, that I felt like, okay, I need to post every single day. That doesn't work for me, because especially as women, we are going through our monthly cycle and our flow, and we have these weeks that we are really going inward, and we have these weeks that we are boom all outward, and we are like, yeah, in a good space. I want to connect and co-create. And there are other days we are not wanting to do that. So honor that, honor your feminine, honor your own cycle, because when we learn to co-create with our own cycle, that's where actually we also gaining a lot of power, in the sense that we are listening to our own inner flow and our own energies. So obviously it's going with more flow, because the moments that we do show up, it's fully aligned. And that's the most important thing ever, to the alignment. Okay, sorry. Another thing, I just want to work through a few points that were really challenging for me at the beginning stage of, yeah, coming out of hiding. And I still see too many beautiful women and goddesses hiding. And I want you all to come join us and come out of hiding, because the abundance and the freedom is available to every one of us. But it's a choice and it's a journey. And one of these things that's come up for each and every one of us is the inner critic. The inner critic, the voice in our heads. And our mind can sometimes, of course, take full control. At least that's how it seems or how it feels. But our mind is just a computer. It's another tool that we can actually use in this physical reality. But it's not who we are. It's not always right. Most of the times it's not, right? Because it's often in disconnect with our heart, with our gut feeling. And that's bringing me back to a lot of things that are coming from old structures, that coming from our ancestral lineages, that coming from the society we are living in, where we as women, we are expected to do certain things or to not do certain things, right? We need to raise the children. We need to, I don't know, it never resonated with me in that sense, but it's still in our coding, because we all received the 3D templating and codes, and that's what we actually breaking ourselves free of. And this is going back ancestral, this is going back into our lineage, it's going back into receiving. Right? Receiving is very challenging, to receive all the goodness that's available to us in terms of just the pleasure and the joy, but also in terms of money and every single thing. So there are too, that inner critic, that voice. We really need to become the witness of what's playing out in our field, because all these things that are coming to the surface telling us why we should not, because that's what it is, they're telling us we should not come out of hiding, because we feel actually quite comfortable where we are right now. But is it really? Because be holding ourselves in certain timelines, and there's so much more available to us, especially now. Like Earth is ascending and we are ascending with her, so we can either stay there and play and not really go into the depths of the discomfort when it comes of coming out of hiding. It obviously needs to be a joyful journey, at least. Like, I would recommend that, to not be too harsh on ourselves. I know that I've been too harsh for many years on myself, and that's backfiring. The moment that I started to ease into things and to accept what is and take smaller steps in order to bring me where I envision myself, it's becoming a more gentle journey. It's becoming a more loving journey. It's more respectful towards ourselves. It's more caring towards ourselves, and therefore also our surroundings, because we are just becoming a nicer being and person, because we are more in co-creation with everything that's available to us. Then another big thing in showing up, coming out of hiding. I keep saying coming out of hiding because that's that's what's available to every one of us, and that's speaking our truths. It's speaking from the heart. It's speaking even when our voice is shaking. It's it's doing it even if you feel fearful. And there are people waiting for you to actually start shining and to do you unapologetically. And the moment that we are really so confident and anchored in our own column of ascension, knowing who we are, it doesn't matter anymore. We're not looking even what other people are doing. We're not wondering what other people are saying or what other people are thinking, because it doesn't matter. We know that we are guided. We know that our soul is leading us to our highest potential, and we have this vision, because once we can imagine it, once we can think it, once it's available in our fields, there is a version of us already living that reality. But we need to shift into that version, and in order to fully embody that version that is available, well, we need to release some things. We sometimes need to purge some things. We need to upgrade. There's so many things, but it doesn't need to be a journey where it's very uncomfortable and sad and painful. No, that's again, this is it. It's a choice. We have this choice now, but it's already available for like longer, of course. We have this choice where we're choosing when we suffered enough. And this has been a flippin' journey for me to decide I've suffered enough. It's again about 2 years ago that someone mentioned these words to me, like, you choose when you suffered enough and you will know. And even when I made that call, I suffered enough and I don't want to do this in this way anymore, it still took me a whole year, even longer, to fully start to embody that, to fully start to feel the depth and the understanding of that, what that meant for me. Because again, it's different for everyone. But when we are fully being present, sharing our magic, sharing our wisdom, sharing our knowledge, that's when we are becoming magnetic. That's when we are in our bliss. That's when we are in that space that everything is going in flow. I can't say that often enough, but it's when we really listening to the guidance of our soul. And the thing is that because the disconnect that was in our fields, we often don't trust that. Our body then starts to freeze because we need to step into the unknown. And the unknown, again, is scary, right? It's not always nice. Coming out of hiding, it's scary. Because what will other people think? We're not even afraid to come out of hiding and to sit in front of a group of people or to show up. We are afraid of what other people will think when we start speaking. So we actually giving all our power away to external factors, because what if we just keep it to ourselves and we know that whatever we have to share, that's valuable, and that even if it's just one person that's going home after that day, that's already a great impact. And that's how we start, and that's how we're building, and that's how we're becoming more comfortable, really tuning in with ourselves over and over again. And we also stay in hiding because we are afraid of our own success. Because what the F is going to happen when we really show up and we break to all these glass ceilings and all these limiting beliefs that actually keep us playing small, and then boom, this whole world is opening up for us. These new timelines full of potential, full of opportunities, and now what? We can't even believe that that's actually the case and is available to us, but it is. So we are fearing what we're actually capable of. If we think about it, it's really a fuck up. And again, it's bringing me back to the patriarchy and to all these things that we are carrying in our fields. A lot of the things that we also carry in our womb space, it's not even ours in as our personal. It's also from the collective. It's so much, but we have that choice available. We have that choice that we can take a complete different pathway towards new realities, towards more flow, towards more embodiment, towards more success. And then the question, what does success mean? That's different for everyone. For me, it's about freedom. And freedom for me is about being free to live wherever I want in this world, being able to travel, being able to go out for like nice foods and dinners and stuff like that. For someone else, freedom can mean being able to sustain their family, or build a new home or something like that. It's different for everyone. So here again, it's important to tune in with ourselves. What is it? So I would like to ask you to feel in what it is for yourself that keeps you still in hiding. If that's the case, what's keeping you in hiding? And if you feel to share, please leave it in the comments. Why are you still feeling like, I know that there's things available to me, I can see it in future timelines, but it's a little hurdle that's still holding me back. If you tune in into your body, what is it that you feel? Where in your body do you feel it? Where is it leading you? And then the other piece that I would like to share, for me, this was such a key point in my whole journey, because for most of the time I was in the present moment and I was looking back. I was healing the past. I was like going deeper and deeper and deeper, but all in the past. I know there is nothing wrong with that. But again, like I mentioned, we have a choice and there are new ways available to us. So what? How does it feel for your body if I share? We staying in the present, we are here now. But instead of moving away from our past, we are going to move towards our future. So we're not going to focus and digging any longer in the past. No, we are here now. How do I feel? Becoming raw and real with how you feel right now in this present moment. And we can do that in all levels of life, in love and wealth and money and health and work, family, husbands, wife. It doesn't matter. All relationships with children. Become really clear and raw and real. How do you feel with that now? And then we're going to look like, okay, this is my current situation. This is how I feel at present. This is how it looks like. This is how it's showing up in my external reality. And then tune in into your future self. Because how would you like it to be? Instead of going back to what has to change, No, let's focus on the future. Let's change this complete narrative by moving towards future timelines and starting to envision that, starting to connect with that. Not only by visualizing, it's going much deeper because our minds and our heart really needs to be in coherence in order to truly manifest. So it, here again, it's about the embodiment. It's about descending back in our body. And we have done, all of us have done so much work, especially in the past couple of years. Many more people have been doing the work and have been waking up to new things, to new gifts. But if we do not take all our bodies with us, and especially our physical body, we will each time hit a glass ceiling. Each time we will shift and then we will cap and then we stay there, and then like it's not even slowing down the process, but it can be a more loving process. And for me, therefore, there's quite a lot of focus on our physical ascension and taking with our body, because just for myself, I've done a lot of energetic work. I've done a lot of quantum work. I've done a lot of spiritual work with the mental body, all these things. But our physical body, like it's really time to focus on shifting our physical body with us into these higher realms that are available to us, which means that we are becoming the observant, but we really start to tune in with our body. We really start to feel what is it telling us, and from this present moment towards the future. So where am I now and where do I want to be? And then we start to really align ourselves with where I want to be. And when we end that process, whatever needs to come up to the surface, whatever is important for our specific journey that we need to know, will come up anyway. But it's becoming a much more loving journey because we are no longer focused on the pain. We are no longer focused on the darkness and the shadow. And shadow work is very important, so it will always be there, but the perspective is changing. The perspective in how we are navigating this journey ourselves, how we are choosing to ascend, how we are choosing to descend our soul back into our body. For me, that was a massive shift, moving towards the future instead of moving away from my past. I've been running away from my past even in the past. Because I even though I was doing all this shadow work, I was keeping me in that realm. I was keeping me in the suffering and pain. Without even consciously knowing it, I was keeping myself there. Up until I really started to feel the calling of my soul, that I felt that there's new ways available, and I didn't know how to do this. I also had to work, and I'm working with other beautiful mentors and coaches that can support me in that journey, because I couldn't make that shift myself. By now I shifted it, but I wasn't able to do this. That's the other thing. It's the receiving of support. Again, especially for the feminine, it's so difficult. It's difficult to sometimes ask for help. If I just look at myself, to ask for help, that's already a big thing, because we are afraid that maybe people say no or whatever reasons. And it's the asking, it's the receiving, it's the acknowledging. Again, it has so many different layers, but it all starts by coming out of hiding, because coming out of hiding and showing up has so many more layers than just being present in this online space or offline space in terms of our pillars of light, of our empires of light, of our businesses. It also means, how am I showing up and coming out of hiding in my relationships? In my relationship, of course, with myself, but also with my partner or partners, also with my children, with my family, with my friends. So much is surfaced in the past couple of years, and still because of the energies that will continue. So we are constantly kind of needing to hold ourselves accountable. Like, is this still in resonance with the person that I am today? Is this still in resonance with the person that I'm growing into? Because we are shifting. And if our environment is not shifting with us, there will be a gap. It will be more challenging and challenging to find each other in the middle, to find each other where we can still be in resonance. Because when we're doing this, the resonance is eventually no longer there. And again, there is nothing wrong. There is no good, there is no wrong. We can choose to heal still in duality and more pain and suffering at times, or we can choose to move away from that and move into future timelines where we're choosing, because fears and limiting beliefs, trust me, they will always be there, because with each new glass ceiling, whatever we do, there will be another fear, there will be another limiting belief, there will be another discomfort. Maybe you starting one day and you decide, I'm going to make a video and I'm going to post that video on YouTube and Insta and Facebook, and that's already a lot just energetically to just do that, but you're doing it. And then after a few months, you're so comfortable with making the videos, you decide, okay, now I'm going to show up live. It's another hurdle, and that's continuous. I had it each time, from videos to stories to lives to podcasts, doesn't matter, to interviews. Each time it's like, for the first couple of times, especially the first time, but it continues a little bit more than that, it's like discomfort. It's like, oh, it's like we contract. Often our body contracts. It's that freeze again. We are in full contraction up until we learn what that's meaning. Because when we are contracted, literally, when our body is contracted, we are blocking. We are blocking a whole cycle of giving and receiving. So when we're contracting, nothing can come in, but we're also not emitting, so we're not in that flow state, whilst we naturally actually in a flow state. So again, so many levels and so many layers to coming out of hiding. And I started this conversation with the online space, but again, it's everywhere in all levels of our lives, also in intimate relationships. So feel in with your body. What is it that you are wishing for? What is it that you envision? Where do you see yourself? If you are having your own beautiful empire of light, or you building a beautiful empire of lights, and you're also working as a coach or mentor, it doesn't even matter what you're doing, but you wishing to expand that, start to feel in your body where the contraction is, and then work from there onwards to that future timeline. Instead of looking back, work, okay, I'm here now. I feel this contraction in my heart, in my tummy, in my throat, wherever it's coming up for you, and start working with that. That's really, again, for me, was so powerful to move forwards. And ask yourself in this present moment, what does it mean to come out of hiding for where you are right now? One of my downfalls, not a downfall, one of my learnings is that I see these future timelines. And it's becoming more visual over the years, but it's very clear to me. So I see this version of myself that already is having this thriving business with all these community projects worldwide, and all my dreams and everything is there. I see it, I feel it, I know it's in the quantum, so I know one day I'm going to shift in her. But where I was kind of holding myself in the not enoughness template, really, I was really hard on myself, is what once I saw it, I was like, I want to be there. And this is what we do. When we see it, we want to be there. So we are in non-acceptance of where we are right now. And because I was in non-acceptance for such a long time, and I was aiming for this, which was very high, and we can quantum leap, we can even quantum shift into those realities. But is it the most loving way? That's the question you need to ask yourself. Is that the most loving timeline available to you? It might be, but perhaps it's not. Perhaps it's that before going there at once, there are several steps that we are taking. I can give an example. Last year, when I left Portugal, I had two options of flight tickets. One was to Mexico and the other one was to Hawaii. And my vision and my biggest vision, I'm living in Hawaii. That's where I would like to settle and build up a base. That's how it feels now already for quite some time. But Hawaii is completely different in if I want to continue my standard of living and my lifestyle. I'm not there yet to continue that in Hawaii, but I can easily do that in Mexico, for example. So I chose Mexico. If I had chosen Hawaii, I would have made it. And probably, maybe I would have even shifted into that version, but it would be with so much more fear. It would be with so much more discomfort. And I made the decision that I wanted to go through this journey and process in a more loving way, in a more gentle way. And that's also the choices that are available to us. So, what is it that you envision, and what's the most loving way that can lead you there? We don't need to, we can't go from here to here immediately. So, use these building blocks, use these steps in between. If you, for example, now are having a business and you aiming for 10K a month, that's easily doable, but then maybe for yourself break it down. Okay, 6K months, 10K months, instead of okay, I'm immediately going for a 6-figure business or a 7-figure business, because I know it's available, I know I will be there one day. But we have these steps in between that we are taking, and we require to allow that process, because once I started to accept where I am right now, things were just flowing, it was just coming. It was the acceptance that was holding me back from all the beauty that was available to me and for me for already such a long time, because it was already in my field for such a long time. But we can only jump on these opportunities, on these possibilities, once we are ready. And it's the same with coming out of hiding. What does it mean to you? Maybe it means to get guidance from someone else that can support you in that journey. Maybe it means that you decide, okay, I'm going to work on one specific channel online, only on Insta, only on Facebook, what resonates most. But choose one thing and start to build from that. Master that and start to build from that. Don't go do all these different things at once. Again, I've done that too. I started all at once. I started to do the YouTube channel, the podcast, my Instagram, my Facebook, and then the first thing that I couldn't keep up with was the podcasts, because it was simply, even I can do it, but I was not in my highest alignments. So choose what it is, how you want to starting to own your stage unapologetically. And my advice is as well, do something if you're at the beginning stage to explore this online world, choose something that you're already more comfortable with, but find that turning point to also step into that discomfort. I'm gonna give you another example. I had like a huge block in my throat for such a long time, and that was blocking me for doing even a podcast or continue a podcast. That's actually why I started the podcast back then, because I wanted to shift that. So you can also kind of find your limits, but do it in your own comfort, in a way that it's a gentle journey. Don't start pushing it. I've pushed so much, and most of the times I was fighting against myself. I see that now so clearly. I was the one holding back myself. And once I got the right, the aligned guidance for me, I could see all these things. And prior to that, it was not visible to me. So it will only become visible when we are ready And that's the thing as well, when we start to move towards our future timelines and we start to work on that, constantly holding ourselves accountable every single day to do that, whatever needs to come up from the past will come up when the time is ready. It will always happen, but these days specifically, we don't need to know that much anymore. We don't need to go there anymore, because these feelings and everything, it's just like we are channel, we just clearing it. So we don't need to keep on digging that much. And that knowledge as well, that wisdom, when I started to embody that, it made it easier for me to actually come out of hiding even more, in a way. And there's one more thing that I would like to share with you. If you still maybe feel that you're a little bit more stuck in the old narratives and in the digging and the part where we look back constantly, is that our body only feels an emotion for 6 seconds. Then we are the ones holding on to it. So our physical body only feels it for 6 seconds and then boom, it's gone. So again, once I started to embody that, and then in combination with all the quantum technologies that I'm working with, it's like I can't even keep up with my own bullshit in that sense, because it's immediately visible. It's like a first coming up and then the reminder, oh, but it's only, my body only feels it for 6 seconds, but I'm already feeling this for an hour now. What the F? What am I doing? Because I'm not that fair. And then boom, it's visible and we're starting to recalibrate our field and we're starting to shift it. I hope that makes any sense and that serves, because the point of this whole sharing for me today is that the world is really waiting for your magic. The world is waiting for your voice. The world is waiting for your beautiful gifts, for you to come out of hiding, for you to show up unapologetically and to own your stage unapologetically, embodied in your beautiful feminine energy. And it doesn't matter if you're watching this and you are a man, because you carry as much feminine energy as we do as women. It's about the alignment of the inner union. And when that's in alignment, or inner union, our beautiful masculine and feminine, it's like a marriage where we can hold our inner child with so much love, with so much grace, with so much ease. And that's where we can embrace that beautiful God and Goddess energy. We can literally start to hold it and expand it. Because that's what we are doing. Once we start to come out of hiding and really own who we are, no matter what other people think. Once we start to do that, we are able to hold more light. Meaning that it doesn't matter any longer in which environments we are playing, even if we move into more density grids, because we are holding ourselves in our column of ascension. It's kind of nothing can come in and out, because are we admitting the high frequencies, but it's not affecting us, what that's doing with the other person. And that's really how we embrace that goddess and God essence. That's really where we reclaim that power. That's really where we turn the life force energy back inwards, where we no longer are giving away our power to the outside worlds. Because we are playing in the matrix every single day, whether we want to or not. We are doing that when we are going out for grocery shopping, or we're going to the bank, or we're going to a shopping mall. We are playing in 3D grids. We are playing in the matrix. So we cannot avoid it. What we can do is choosing to be in our highest alignments, in our sovereignty and in connection with our soul, with an open heart. That's another thing. In order to receive the feminine, the receiving, our heart needs to open. And that's a journey as well. We are not there from one day to another day. And the moment we're starting to shift that, we can navigate life and move through life with so much more of a service heart. And a service heart to me is coming out of hiding, being in service in a way that I want to share my codes and codexes of light. That's a completely different narrative than wanting to gain. It's much more about the collective. It's much more about, okay, where can we shift into all of us together and how can we hold each other in that sense? So, this was actually leading up to the free scholarship that we are gifting away to the Goddess Rising Collective, our 6-month journey where we really starting to work with our body. The first 3 months, the first semester is the Home Body Codex, where we will be going through many codes, almost 28 codes, where we will be releasing slave codes, false codes, installing new templates, and really shake it off. Really working with our energy, really, yeah, the embodiments. There's a high focus on embodiments, and we are gifting away one full scholarship for this beautiful journey. In the second term, it's going to go much more about goddess leadership, meaning that we're going to look at our inner leader. What can we still alchemize to come even more out of hiding? So a lot in this 6-month journey will be actually focused on speaking our truth, speaking our voice, but also being comfortable in our feminine, energy, in our sensual energy, without feeling guilty, without feeling shameful. And being present in this now moment, and from this now moment, moving towards the future. So this is a beautiful journey, and the application is still open up until Wednesday, so the 17th, so the day after tomorrow. We are going to announce the winner. So if you're keen to learn more, you can check out the link. If all went well, there is a link in this video, and otherwise I will add it in the comments. If you have any questions, please do ask me. The program is starting in September. We are starting with our first pre-work session on the 29th of August. And yeah, it's a beautiful journey that I'd love to explain more about. So you can either fill in the beautiful application for the scholarship, and otherwise reach out to me if you have any further questions, and check out the link in this comments to find more information. If you have any questions, please do let me know. And otherwise, I'm going to wish you a beautiful, beautiful day and evening ahead, wherever you may be in this world, in all these different time zones. And I'm sending you lots and lots of love. Bye.